Sean Bentley.
What's up, Cowboys fam? It's your boy Jay Tuck back with another Cowboys fans only episode. So you guys who watch this channel, you know the drill. Go ahead, comment, like, subscribe. Somewhere down there, somewhere down there, somewhere down there. Also, go ahead and check out cowboysfansonly.com to get all of your CFO merchandise. I said if we reach 300 subscribers, it might be a free giveaway tonight, so you got to definitely lock in and see if we met that number. I just checked, we're probably at 299, so we need one more subscriber, so go ahead and subscribe. But Cowboys fam, this has been a long week for a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans. And if you watched my show on Monday, I was down and out. I know a lot of you were down and out. So I feel like right now, what the Dallas Cowboys needs, and also the Dallas Cowboys fandom needs right now, is some hype. We need some excitement. We need some momentum. So with further ado, I brought the perfect person to bring the hype tonight. So CFO fam, I want you guys to welcome my guy Mike Tag to the show. Mike, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully, I can live up to the hype.
Yeah, man, you are the hype guy. So if they follow you on Twitter at Mike Tag 1930 or 1993, not 33, he is one of the hypest guys on Twitter, man. I'm surprised his doors are still intact, man, because he busted the doors on game day. He gets me fired up. He gets everyone fired up. And so I was like, I need some Mike Tag right now because Cowboys Nation. We need a lot of uplifting right now. Before we dive in, Mike, though, tell everyone where they can find you as far as your social media is concerned.
I mean, really, I'm not a huge social media guy, even though I blew up a little bit on Twitter. But you can see me on Twitter at mtag1993. Also, it's the same for Instagram, and then also on YouTube, I have the same channel where I kind of archive all my videos. So if you're ever feeling down and out, you need to get pumped up, you can go back in and see some of the good times and where we're winning a little bit more.
The good times, the good times. Yeah, because as of right now, there isn't too much good to kind of go off of when it comes to the Cowboys football. But before we dive in that, Mike, it's Fan Friday. And for Fan Friday, what we like to do here on the CFO channel is get to understand the fans. So we talked, off chat, and you reside in Tampa. So tell me a little bit, how did you end up a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Well, I'm born and raised in South Florida. I got two older brothers. I got a younger sister, but my oldest brother was a Dolphins fan. He was Miami through and through. My middle brother was a Broncos fan because Reuben Carter, who played with the Gators, I guess he talked to the school. He became a Broncos fan. My mom got me a Cowboys shirt when I was a kid. I became a Cowboys fan, and if anyone with brothers know that it's a rivalry, so you hate each other, so it's constant fighting. So I've been a fan as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and it's been a long ride. It's been a long ride, but you picked the right team because it could have been worse. You could have been a Dolphins fan like your brother, and it could be all downhill from there. Now, I must say this. Shouts out to my guy Jonathan for the SoFlo Cowboys. He has an amazing man cave, but my guy Mike, man, he has an amazing man cave as well. So, talk a little bit about the memorabilia that's behind you, man.
It's it's really a lot of years as a kid, growing up. I collected 8x10s. We'd go get autographs. Emmett Smith at his show, Michael Irvin, obviously he played down at the U, so I got to meet him. So really everything in here, I would probably say 90% of it is stuff that I've gotten personally just
Ah,
through the years. Some of the other things, my middle brother, he's a collector as well. So a lot of the older 70s Cowboys, he gets a lot of autographs from that era, the 70s and 80s, and
okay.
Cowboys are popular. So a lot of that stuff he's got me through the years. But I mean, I'm looking at some stuff that I've had since I was 10 years old, and it just
Ah,
brings back.
man, you held on to it, man. That
Yeah,
that
and I
is
always said someday I'm going to get a cave, and if I am, I'm going to do it right. So
right, exactly. It is authentic and it has actual some memorabilia and some meaning to it versus just going and buying off of eBay and different things like that. So that's cool, man. So let me
yeah,
ask you this, Mike. You've been a Cowboys fan for quite some time. If you had to pick just one, we're just gonna do one. Who was your all-time favorite Dallas Cowboys player?
yeah, that's tough because it's going to be between two. But if I have to pick one, it would be Emmett Smith over Tony Dorsett. I grew up when Tony Dorsett was near the middle end of his career in the mid '80s. But Emmett Smith, I loved Emmett Smith, and my first real Cowboys jersey I got was Emmett Smith. He
Right,
got us 3 Super Bowls, or at least was a pretty damn important part of it. So
right.
Emmett Smith is always at the top of the food chain
Top
for
of the
me when it.
food chain. Yeah, it always bounces between either Emmett or Irvin or Aikman, which I'm currently wearing right now. So I mean, when it comes to the triplets, man, I feel like they're all intact as one. It's hard to really pick one out, but Emmett Smith was definitely that cornerstone for a lot of great memories as far as the Dallas Cowboys is concerned. If you look at the hat
Yeah,
I'm wearing, the Super Bowl champions
I love
hats.
that. I love that.
so so yeah, good times, man.
You want to get me charged up? It used to be obviously the Barry Sanders, Emmett Smith
Debate.
controversy.
Well,
I'd
actually,
argue tooth and nail, and I usually, I don't shut up till I win.
well,
So
funny thing you mentioned that. So I'm actually from Wichita, Kansas. So I'm from the home of Barry Sanders. And so
yeah,
being an Emmett Smith fan, the home of Barry Sanders, it was always argument after argument how Emmett was better than Barry, and then it's just like no, because Emmett had the O line, and I'm not going to go in that to that. But yeah, I definitely understand your pain going through that argument. So what we're about to do, Cowboys fam, we're going to take a quick glance at what happened last Sunday, and then we're going to move forward. So, Mike, I'm sure you're aware, many people are. Last Sunday, the Cowboys, though we won, we suffer a drastic loss, not only by losing Dak Prescott, but losing Tristan Hill. So what is your feelings right now as far as the 2020 season?
Well, I mean, as I've said in some of my videos, it's a lot of ups and downs, and it's just been that kind of year. I think with COVID and everything else, it's just been just a strange year. And
Right.
with Dak, the funny thing was, is I was watching the game. For some reason, I'm like 3 seconds behind my buddy who's a Cowboys fan, and he texts me. He says his ankle's broken. I'm like, I thought he was talking about Tristan Hill.
Right,
Right. He break his ankle, and then all of a sudden, the play happened 2 seconds later, and I honestly thought that Dak was putting his shoe on.
Right.
I thought his shoe fell off, and then I looked and was like, "Oh my god!" And just my heart sunk. And in the beginning, it's like you do what everyone does. The season's over. It's woe is me.
Right.
But you got to pick yourself up, and it's you hate to use that next man up mentality for every position, but I think Dak, I think he'd want it that way. That eventually we got to heal and we got to get motivated and we got to continue on, because thankfully we're in probably the worst division that we've ever had.
The NFC least. Yeah, I tell you. And that's the one thing that's kind of just keeping me positive just for a little bit, is that our division is so bad. But man, we've lost so many people this year. It's just been rough, like injuries after injuries. So let me ask you this, Mike. Let's talk about the game this past Sunday. Was there anything that you can kind of hold your hat on to say, okay, I'm seeing some improvement with this team? Or are you still feeling like, this is not what I expected coming in from the offseason, coming from the Jason Garrett era to Mike McCarthy?
What I saw that gave me hope was Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
And after the injury, he was running harder. They were featuring him more, and I think that's something that we got away from, and really got away from it because obviously all the turnovers didn't help.
Right.
You're behind 20 points, but seeing the way he runs, because I always tell people, I said, Zeke, it's not the 3 to 5 yards he gets in the first quarter, second quarter. Those 3 to 5 turn into 7 to 15 to 20 to 25, because he wears you down.
Right.
And that's the formula that I've always seen as a success for the Cowboys and when they're at their best. And if they can kind of get to that and stop the bad plays in the beginning, I think there's hope. Right. And I think the defense is going to get healthier. Are they going to get much better? I don't know. I mean, but they can't get any worse.
Right.
But I mean, you bring in, if Van Der Esch comes back and you get Gregory back, Cheeto comes back. I mean, now maybe they can assemble something of a defense.
Exactly. So that's the one hope. And I kind of think about, if you're a Marvel guy and you watch the end game for Avengers, and then when it's the end of the game, we're battling Thanos, and then all of a sudden here comes the guys to the portals to help. That's what it's going to kind of be like with this defensive players, getting possibly Cheeto back, getting possibly LVE back, and some of these guys, Randy Gregory, I'm hearing Mike McCarthy saying that he's looking great thus far, so that can definitely be a plus for us. But like I said, guys, talking about Sunday's game, my biggest concern was the defense and then also the turnovers. I feel like for some reason, the turnovers still remain with the Cowboys, and we really have to be able to clean things up, especially once we start playing these teams like Arizona we play on Monday night. We cannot turn over the ball and start getting behind 15, 17 points every game. That is just not a winning formula in the NFL, so hopefully we can clean things up. As far as all the miscommunications on the defensive side of the ball, hopefully getting some of these guys back that we just mentioned can clean that up. But let me ask you this, Mike. Do you think it's Mike Nolan's scheme that's causing a lot of confusion and issues, or do you think it's more of the personnel?
I think it's the personnel. I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit before, pre-call, is his defense is really built big guys in the middle.
Right.
And if and I know Tank gets a lot of heat, and Alden's doing good, but if you really watch them, they're getting pressure, and they're getting pressure on the outside, but the defensive tackles are getting pushed down the field, 5 yards. The quarterback's just stepping into the pocket, and then he's either running or he's dumping off a pass. And I think the defensive tackle, that's our Achilles heel right now. I don't know if they can fix it. I don't know if we got anything left to get it. I was hoping maybe they'd get stacks or, try and address it somehow, some way.
Right.
But it just seems like the line is just killing.
Right. Yeah, and that's the big hole is the defensive lineman, the defensive tackle position. Like we said, losing Tristan Hill, not going in and securing the line by signing a Snacks Harrison's. So it looks like what we have, Cowboys fam, is what we have, and we're going to have to find a way to make it work. So let's go in the chat, because I see the chat is on fire. Let's see what's going on. We got Frank Casper. I can't pronounce your last name, bro. I apologize. Quick question for any fantasy users out there: would you trade Kamara for Julio, Robbie Aaron? He's asking fantasy questions, bro. My fantasy team right now is 1-3 due to all the injuries. I cannot. I'm the wrong person to ask for fantasy help right now. Shouts out to the boys 2138. What's up, my guy? He said, let's see here. Jimmy D. Hope that Dak is okay, but we overpaid him and he's got no heart. Yeah. If you missed the Monday show, you understand, Jimmy, that we're not addressing that. No Dak hate will be tolerated because anyone who knows the game of football know what Dak Prescott means, not only to the Dallas Cowboys, but to the organization, their fans, this team, everything. So there's no need to even address that. Let's see, more fantasy football talk. Let's see what's going on, Cowboys fam. What's going on? So I got good news, Cowboys fam. We just received. I got 300 followers or subscribers on YouTube. So you guys met the mark. So I said on Twitter, if we reach 300 tonight, I was going to do a giveaway. But I'm not going to make it easy. Of course not. I'm not going to make it easy. So here we go, Cowboys fam. Everyone listen up. Listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. All right. We are going to do a trivia question. It's not going to be an easy one. And if you got the answer, post it in the chat. And if you have the answer, the first person that can answer this question will receive a free gift from me from the Cowboys Fans Only website, okay? So here you go. All right, here you ready. The Cowboys started their NFL legend in 1960. Their record was 0-11-1, so we had a tie. And we were led in our 8th season by a former Washington quarterback. Who was that who had a turnover to touchdown ratio of 12-25 in their first season? Does anybody know? And I'll post the question in the chat just so you guys can read it, but you're probably going to Google it. I know you guys are going to cheat, but I'm going to post the question in the chat. So if you guys can answer that by the end of the show, the first person that can answer that question will receive a free gift from me. So let's go into what's been going on this week, because as we know with Cowboys news, it's never a slow week. So earlier, Mike, Leighton Vander Esch, he's going to be possibly returning Monday or maybe the following week. What is your thoughts? I know it's kind of split 50-50 with Cowboys fans. A lot of us think it's too quick, but what is your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I was surprised to say he was back at practice because, I mean, the last thing we need is really from the comeback and then re-injure it again and then pretty much be out for the year. So right. I thought it was, I'm thinking it might be too quick. I'm hoping the doctors know better and he's going to be smart about it because, again, it's a marathon right now. And with the division we're in,
right.
You know, you hiccup a couple games. It's not the end of the world, but you start losing guys for the season. It's going to be even harder to overcome, especially on defense.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, that's been my biggest concern because to be honest with you guys, I wasn't expecting LVE to come back, even if all this season, maybe closer to playoffs, maybe, December-ish, if that. But to see him coming back this soon, they're saying he looks great. Looks like he's 100%. But for me, I'm just saying with Leighton Vander Esch, he had a neck surgery. Now it's a collarbone. And now you play the most collision position in all of sports as middle linebacker. So don't rush it. Make sure that you're fully healthy because we don't want to see an injury and have you go through this again because it can start to wear on you mentally, going through surgery, missing season after season. I really hope he's fully healthy. So maybe if he is, he can definitely add to our defense. Now, there's no deny about that. So selfishly, as a Cowboys fan, I'm like, yeah, he can play. Let's put him out there Monday. Let's go. But I really want him to make sure that he's doing the right thing and coming back fully healthy. The next topic this week, I think that was today. Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons is on the trade block apparently, and I guess there was like a text message that was leaked that Dallas was interested, or so maybe Dallas is in the market to make a move for a safety. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, it's funny because Justin Simmons, he's went to high school down in Florida, okay. And one of my best friends was his coach.
Okay.
So I got that message. I saw it on Twitter or something. So I text him right away. I said, "Hey, man," I sent him the picture. I said, "You need to find out what's going on."
Right.
So he sent me back a message a little bit later, and he said there's been talk, but
right, nothing.
That's all it's been. I just don't know if the Cowboys. I mean, they just don't seem like they want to pull the trigger on anything to improve the team this year with bringing someone in because all the different guys that they had opportunities with, it nothing happens. So
Right.
I'd love to see him get a safety because I don't. Darren Woodson was the last probably
Right.
great we had, and I mean Roy Williams was a hitter,
Right.
but it's been so long, and I don't know why they don't address the safety position. It's frustrating.
I think that's the huge question mark for a lot of Cowboys fans is why not? Why don't we address the safety position? So, like I said, y'all, I would love for us to bring in a safety like Justin Simmons, but it's going to actually cost some draft capital. And with the way the season is going, we don't know how valuable that's really going to be, depending on how things go under the Andy Dalton era. So, I don't see the Cowboys making a move for it. I saw someone just post in the chat about Quentin Williams. I doubt that's going to happen for Dallas because that's going to be an even higher premium to get a guy like that. So I don't know, Cowboys. I feel like the defense that you guys see out there is what you get, and you got to make a way to deal with it. I got to make a way to deal with it. But it's also speaking of defense, David Irving was reinstated. I just saw recently today. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, do you bring David Irving back? Granted, this isn't the Jason Garrett coaching staff who's been familiar with him, and he's had, I wouldn't say off the field issues, but he had some trouble. Would you bring a guy like that back into the organization?
I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, at this point, I don't know if he's worth it. I mean, they're getting Gregory back, and he battled his demons, and hopefully he's past it. And Holden Smith, he seems to be past it. I just don't know if Irvin, he left him kind of dirty, so I don't know. I think it's probably best not to touch that.
I mean, and then here's the thing, guys. Even though our defense is bad, we just can't start getting desperate and just pulling in anybody off the street. Now, Earl Thomas is kind of a different situation because he's an instant impact guy. But David Irving, I'm just not a fan of bringing him back because you really don't know where his head is. I want people who's committed to winning, committed to Dallas Cowboys football. And granted, he might want to come back now because, of course, that outside life's probably got a little bit boring for him. But now he's probably want to get back to football. But I just don't trust it. I would pass on David Irving personally for me. We mentioned a guy who's coming back who had some similar issues, Randy Gregory. As we mentioned earlier, it looks like he's 100%. This thing's a little bit heavier, but as Zeke said earlier in his interview that he's a dog, he's a beast. So, do you think that Randy Gregory is going to give us a boost, especially at that right end position? And what does that mean for Everson Griffin? Do you think he might slide into defensive tackle a little bit more, or he might just be on the outskirts?
Yeah, actually, I think he'll stay, but I think maybe moving him to tackle. I know he's may not be the right size for what they want, but I mean we need players out there, and Griffin. I mean he's still a talented player, and he's under contract. I just don't see letting defensive linemen go at the way things are going for us right now. We need all the help we can get. So I would leave it, but I love Gregory. I mean he was killing it, and then obviously just had another relapse. But I think he can be a difference maker because if we get pressure and if we can get things going, the back end of the defense isn't as they look better.
Right.
But if they're getting the pressure and the D tackles are getting pushed up, then the secondary can only do so much. And if they're not that great right now, it's only going to get worse.
Right.
Make them look.
Right. Exactly. So. As Mike mentioned, man, feel like we can get pressure. That can help our back end with our defense. Like I said, we're getting some guys back in the secondary, which can be helpful. That safety position we all know is a question mark, but I feel like once Cheeto is back, we saw Anthony Brown. He had a big play on Sunday. Diggs is going to continue to grow. Now, granted, he's going to be challenged on Monday, but he's continuing to grow as a rookie. So I feel like if we get some of those guys back, if the front four can just do their job and get some pressure, then things can start to amount for this defense and we can start to settle in. But until then, man, it's going to be like I don't know what to expect. And then last but not least, I want to call him Terrence McCarthy. But Terrence Steele, Mike McCarthy said that he is going to be our right tackle moving forward. I don't know why that is. He's looked bad in a few games. Granted, he looked a little bit better against the Giants on Sunday, but we've seen what can happen, especially against the Browns with Myles Garrett lined up when he's getting one of those great pass rushers lined up against him. What is your thoughts on this O-line and Terrence Steele? Do you think he should be the guy moving forward, or should we adjust?
I mean, I don't know what more they can do. I mean, most teams don't lose their starting left tackle and right tackle. And really, you can count the center because Frederick retired, kind of unexpectedly. So you lost, 3/5 of your line, and you just got to go with what you have. I thought, honestly, I was getting into a conversation with one of my followers about it. I thought the O-line has played better than I thought with the injuries. Now, again, like I told him, I had to sit through that Falcon game in Dallas a years ago when I forgot which guy it was, just got absolutely annihilated for 7 sacks by one, And so so maybe my expectations are a little bit lower, but
Right.
I think what the coaches can do is help. It's like with Garrett, he's going to kill him. You
Right.
got to get the chip. We just got to play a little bit smarter.
Right.
The coaches just got to make those adjustments, and I think he will.
And we all saw that against the Browns game. Why would you leave this kid with no help, no protection of a running back, no one chipping off, just one-on-one against one of the best pass rushers in the NFL? So you can't be that blindsided when it comes to protection, and especially now with Andy Dalton, because he's not as agile as Dak Prescott and be able to move back there in the pocket. So you really have to give him some time. I believe with this Cowboys offensive line can give Andy Dalton some time. He can pick you apart. He can use the weapons that we have. But if he's running for his life, then I don't know what to really do, man. Because like I said, he can't be in that situation where he's taking 7-step drops and teams are able to peel their ears back and just come at him. Because with our offensive line, though we're nicked up, it might just be a free lunch for a lot of these guys. So let's go to the chat. Let's see, because I saw some answers pop up. Let's see. Okay, Mo, nice answer. Let's see here. Mo, nice answer. Let's see anybody else. Let's see here. Lewis, good answer. That was a guess. Let's see anybody else. Okay. So I said the first person who got it right would get a free gift from the CFO merchandise store. So Mo, you are the winner of the free merchandise, man. So I see you're on Facebook. Message me on Facebook in the group. I'll get your information. I'll send you out a shirt. I saw you mention about that Zeke shirt. So if that's the one you want, let me know that in your size. And I got you, bro. And we had some good answers, man. But Mo was the first person to get the answer. But I'm going to give it a mood. Like I said, we've been down and out all week. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw in a 30, no, let's do 20% discount code on the CFO show for tonight after the show. What code should we use, Mike?
You got to use hype, man. You got the hype man on.
Hype. Use hype at their checkout line at the CFO.com, and then we'll get you guys a 20% discount code for everyone tuning in because I know everyone can't be a winner. So, yeah, Mike. So, as we mentioned, Monday Night Football, we are going to face the Arizona Cardinals. So, which will be a tough matchup, I must say. But what is your expectations for this game, and what has you really concerned?
My expectations is hopefully we're going to pound the rock with Zeke.
Right.
And really the thing I was talking to my buddy again about is the slot with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he should be he could catch 10 to 12 balls a game. No one's going to be able to cover him, especially with Cooper and Gallup on the other side. So I think if Andy Dalton gets rid of the ball fast, we pound the rock. The defense, you gotta hope and pray. I mean, Murray's he's trouble. He's going to be a problem if he gets out in the open field. But he turns the ball over too.
Yeah.
And geez, can we get some turnovers on defense?
we need all the turnovers we can get. Yeah.
Yeah. If we can get something going, I'm hoping it's not a shootout.
Right.
I think if it's a shootout, we're in trouble. Right. I think the only way, our best shot is to grind it out and just win ugly.
Right.
And old school football, I think that's their best option.
Yeah,
personally.
Exactly. So some of my for Monday's matchup, stop D-Hop. That's the main priority, is stop D-Hop. Because we've all seen it. A lot of these great receivers, and I mentioned this all week, we've seen Odell Beckham Jr., we've seen Calvin Ridley, we've seen DK Metcalf, we've seen it all. But this is the cream of the crop that we're going against. And even when this guy is covered, he is not covered. He's that good. So we really have to find a way to stop DeAndre Hopkins. Who's going to draw that tall order? I do not know. So, I mean, it looks like Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan has a lot of confidence in Diggs, so maybe he's the lucky guy. And they're just going to.
He's been the best so far.
Yeah. So maybe they're going to continue to toss this kid to the flames. So we'll see about that. But DeAndre Hopkins, we definitely cannot get him rolling, because if not, he can definitely have a big night. And, they can go and put up points fast with this Arizona offense. My second takeaway to win this game on Monday, run the damn ball. Run the ball. Feed this beast back here, Ezekiel Elliott, and also Tony Pollard. Because as I've been mentioning, guys, when you run the ball, it helps with a lot of the issues the Dallas Cowboys have been having, right? It should, knock on wood, limit turnovers. Zeke can hold on to the ball. Tony Pollard can hold on to the ball. It should limit the turnovers. It will also help us win the time of possession battle. Also, it allows our offensive line to kind of get some momentum when they're setting the tone, constantly firing off in the run game, and also let those guys keep the defensive line off balance. And also, it creates momentum for Ezekiel Elliott, as Mike mentioned, to wear these teams down in the fourth quarter when it really counts. But then, most importantly, especially in our situation, it keeps our defense off the field. so, so we all know Xavier Woods can't go 100% all the time, so we need to keep him off the field, keep him rested, so that way they can come in, get stops, and give the ball back to our offense. And that starts with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard running the ball. Now, granted, a lot of people have been blaming the run game on Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm here to tell you guys it's not Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott looks fine. It's the offensive line. It's going to take some time. He's not running behind that great wall of Dallas, so it's going to take a little bit for Zeke to figure things out, but we have to stay committed to it because what's been happening,
we turn I was going to say, just to touch on that is the problem is you're falling behind. You know, exactly. Zeke, definitely not the problem. He gets a lot of heat, but he's getting 10 carries, 12 carries a game. That's not Zeke. Zeke's 18 to 25 is where he does his damage. Right. He needs the ball, and that's what they got to do it.
Exactly. Feed the beast. Feed Zeke. I want to see Zeke's belly tat again on Monday. I need to see a lot of that. Thirdly, turnover-free football. Please. Can we have a week where we're just not just turning over the football nonstop? Like, can protect the ball. I mean, these are like things, if you coach a little league team, these are the same things you preach like a little league team. Protect the ball. Do not turn over the ball, because I feel like if we start turning over the ball, we give Arizona great field position. It can get ugly quick. And with Andy Dalton, I really don't want to throw him in that situation where he's down by 17 or 20 points in the first half and he's having to shoot it out to come back. Because I feel like if we get to that point, it's going to be game over. So turnover-free football on special teams, and then also on the offensive side of the ball. And maybe, as Mike mentioned, Kyler Murray does turn over the ball sometimes. So maybe our defense can get some turnovers and we can actually win that turnover battle. And then my fourth takeaway, play assignment defense. You have to keep containment, play your assignment. You can't play hero ball. You can't just be flying around blindly, not knowing what you're doing. Keep containment, because as soon as you turn your head or make the wrong move, Kyler Murray's going to take off and he can make those big plays. And so you really have to keep containment. As I said on Monday, I saw a play with Bradley Anae, and I'm a huge Bradley Anae fan, Mike. He finally got his first NFL play, and what does he do? He comes in, he soft plays the bootleg because it was a play action. He did his assignment, and then he rushes the passer, Daniel Jones, and he was like a second too late. That's what you have to do, but stop crashing in, because teams love to run the bootleg. It's on tape. It's been on film since 2018 in the playoffs when the Rams were doing it constantly against us. So play your assignment. Quit just diving in blindly. Slow play the slow plays when it comes to Kyler Murray, and play your assignment. And I think if the Dallas Cowboys can do these critical things, we can possibly get a victory on Monday. Mike, what's your thoughts?
No, I mean you hit every point, and that's what it's going to take. But it's really, like I mentioned before on one of my videos, is just do your job.
Right.
No one needs, on defense, we don't need heroes. We just need you to do your job, stay disciplined, and everything. I like our chances. I mean, we're going to give up points, but at least that puts us in the best position to win, especially with Murray, because if he gets out there and they over pursue and they leave holes and it's over. I mean, right. I don't want anyone on defense that's going to catch him.
Right, exactly, because he's quick. We've all seen what Kyler Murray is fully capable of doing, so you definitely have to keep him contained. So Mo, you said, where do I give you my info? Do in the Facebook group, Cowboys Fans Only DC for Life, or you can just private message me and I'll get your info and I'll shoot you the shirts over to you. So Mike, I hate to put you on the spot, but as far as your prediction for Monday night's game, what's your prediction?
Well, obviously I think the Cowboys are going to win. I never come here to lose.
He's more than a fan than me, man.
I'm never going to say we're going to lose. It's going to be a tough game. Things got to go right, but I think it's going to be not as high scoring as people think. It could be, like a 27-24, 27-21 type game. Mm-hmm. I think if it does that, we're going to win. If people are predicting into the 30s and 40s, then that's wishful thinking. I think we're going to lose.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking. Like, I hope it's a low-scoring game. We really have to muddy this game up and make it ugly. It's probably going to be boring, but I think Dallas Cowboys, we got to get back to boring, basic football. No more, special teams, fake punts, and going for it on fourth down and all that. Let's just play boring football and just win. Because when we win, that's exciting. That's
Nothing
exciting.
better.
I don't care if you win 10-7, just win, baby, win. That's all I care about. I swear I would have the same excitement if we had a shootout and we still lost. So let's hop into questions, man. Keep the questions burning in the chat. So, what are some things you saw from last week's game that Andy Dalton can do to be more productive in the game against the Cardinals? Mike, I'll let you have that one.
I mean, he was 9 for 11, and I mean, he had a nice deep touch on the ball to Gallup twice. I think the key for him is again getting rid of the ball early. I mean, hitting CD, hitting Amari, just quick passes, because with the line, he's not going to be able to sit back there all day. So I think quick passes is going to be the key to success. The only bad thing I saw in Andy, and I don't want to jinx it, is I guess he has a really bad record on primetime games.
Yeah.
Hopefully a new uniform will change that.
Yeah, because here's the thing, Andy Dalton, playing for the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to have a lot of primetime football under your belt. But like I said, guys, I'm fully confident in Andy Dalton. Let's say, for instance, perfect scenario, everybody's healthy, and Dak Prescott goes down, and Andy Dalton steps right in. I'm fully confident that he could keep things afloat. It's just with this defense, that what concerns me. It's not Andy Dalton, the offense. That's the least of my concerns right now. Because that can be fixed. They can explode at any time. It's really just this defense. And now that Tristan Hill is out, I just don't know. Every time our defense takes the field, it's just like, please get a turn. It's third down. It's 3rd and 8. I'm just like, all right, let's please get off the field. Let's not have a holding call or some type of penalty that keeps them on the field. So hopefully, if the defense can really tighten things up, let's just hold teams to 24 points. Give me 24. I'll take that. I feel like Andy Dalton's more than capable to do what it takes to push this Dallas Cowboys season into the playoffs and lead this team. Now, my takeaway for Andy Dalton is not try to be a hero. Don't try to be a hero. Now's not the time for that. Do what you're capable of doing. Make the proper reads, but we don't need a hero right now. Don't try to force anything. Just play your game. Do what you've always done in your career and just lead this team. But most importantly, ride on Ezekiel Elliott. like I said, if you have to go 30, 35 carries for Ezekiel Elliott, that's perfectly fine. That's what you do. You ride Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard out, and you let the chips fall where they fall. Let's see here.
Jay, talk real quick. I was laughing when you had said it, but did any Cowboy fan ever think they would say this year, that Tristan Hill being hurt really hurts him?
I know, right? I know. Everyone was jumped off the Tristan Hill bandwagon. Oh, he's horrible. Yeah. He's horrible. And to be honest with you, I saw something different in Tristan Hill this offseason. You kind of saw the interviews. He was very short, didn't really want to be there. He was really focused on football. And the thing that I love the most about Tristan Hill, he had a nasty streak about him. Like, I really want our defense to get back to just being a nasty team. We've seen it. And I always say this. Teams, fans, they hate the Dallas Cowboys. So why are we so friendly on defense? Like, have some attitude. Play with a swagger. Like, DeMarcus Lawrence, get a late hit on the quarterback. It's perfectly fine. Just make sure that they know that you're around, okay? I'm perfectly okay with that because we spoke about this off camera about the Saints game on Thursday night. I love when DeMarcus Lawrence, he came out and he talked trash before game, and he came out and backed it up. That's okay with me. That's the type of football I like, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So Tristan Hill was one of those guys that really just had a nasty mean streak, because I think that he hurt a lot from last season of everyone writing him off. So he really had something to prove, and to see him go out, I mean, it was tough. So,
and to see him go out when he was trying to avoid landing on the quarterback to get a penalty. That's the part that's frustrating,
Exactly, because he let up and hurt himself. Because if he would have ran through Daniel Jones like he probably wanted to, he'd have been perfectly fine. But he got the penalty. I think that was against Russell Wilson late in that game. I think it was on a 2-point conversion. So he wanted to make sure he didn't make the same mistakes, which is a good thing. That means that it's registering up here. Don't make the same mistakes, but still it ended up costing him his season. So I hope that he gets well. He'll bounce back. A lot of these guys, hopefully they bounce back, man, because there's been injuries after injuries. I think Schultz will get more opportunities. Yeah, I think that Schultz will be a security blanket for Andy Dalton. I think also CeeDee Lamb will be a security blanket playing that slot as well. Now, let me ask you this, because this has been the hot topic on this show. Who do you think right now is the primary number one receiver when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I mean, right now it looks like it's CD, but I think Amari, I think they kind of each have a role, and I think they kind of feed off each other. But I think eventually CD is going to be he's going to be the man on the team. I mean, Gallup, I always look at Gallup as Alvin Harper
Right.
of the night. I always go back to that. He makes the big plays down the field. And then Amari, personally, I think in 2 years, they're probably going to end up parting ways. And because you got Gallup and you've got CD. But I love Amari. Obviously, you see the jersey.
Yeah.
I like him. I'm hoping he's still got stuff left.
Yeah, and I like Cooper. He's just a different kind of wide receiver that a lot of people aren't accustomed to. And so, and one of my friends, he was a huge Raiders fan, or he is a huge Raiders fan. And he said, when we traded for Amari Cooper, there's going to be games you're going to love him, and the next game you're going to ask, where the heck is he? And that's Amari Cooper. It's just 12 catches, he blows up for 100-something yards, and then next game is just like, where'd you go? And so it's just peaks and valleys with Amari Cooper, when CeeDee Lamb was just kind of on the trajectory, transcending up. So I'm really curious to see who's going to start getting the attention when it comes to our wide receiver core, because you mentioned the big three, but you also got to talk about Cedric Wilson's been playing great as of late. Also threw for a touchdown. So, I mean, there's so many different pieces and weapons that this offense still has, but I really don't want to place this season strictly on the offensive shoulders. So it's a great question. I think her name is Eva. She asked you what your prediction was, which you just gave for the game. But what is your prediction for the Cowboys' future? Are you still thinking playoffs and Super Bowl, that we're going to be down there partying with you in Tampa? Or
I'm hoping it, but obviously that's a long way to go. But
yeah.
I think the season, thankfully, again, not to beat a dead horse with our division, it's terrible.
Right.
So we're going to be in it. And what Parcells always, used to say, you get in a tournament, if you can get hot, I mean, we've seen it. You've seen 9-7 Giants. I mean, you've seen teams that fight their way in, and they're battle tested. And when it comes to the playoffs, it's a different animal. Plus, with COVID, you just don't know where things are going, what players and injuries and all that stuff that just keeps piling up. So it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to be in it to the end, at least of the division. And if they win the division and go to the playoffs, they're hosting a playoff game in Dallas. You just never know. It's all you ask for is a chance, right?
Exactly. And I know a lot of people were jumping on me on Twitter, but I did say it, with all these outbreaks starting to go through these NFL teams, if the NFL want to kind of push this season back and restart in January, I wouldn't be opposed to that, let's push it back a little bit. Let's restart in January, and then we'll come back, and hopefully we'll have some of our guys healthy, and then we can make a run. So good question. Shouts out to my brother Cody. He asked, do we even keep Michael Gallup next season?
I mean, me personally, I would. I mean, he's got one more year unless he holds out and he's trying to get more money. But the reason I brought Cooper up, because if you looked at his contract, the way it was structured, that year that Gallup's a free agent, that's where kind of, if Dallas was going to make a move to either restructure Cooper or make a move, that's what they would do. I love Gallup. I mean, he makes big plays. And it's, not to go back to Alvin Harper, but that was one of the nice things when you had Michael Irvin on one side and Alvin Harper. He might only catch 3 or 4 balls, but they were always big time.
Exactly. Whenever Michael Gallup's number is called, he's there. And so I think we have to keep Michael Gallup. Like I said, I would think that Amari Cooper would be the moving piece before Michael Gallup is moved. So, and like you said, having these wide receivers right now is a luxury. And so let's just worry about keeping them all right now, what we have, because right now we're very dependent on this wide receiver core. It says, I think we are rebuilding without knowing it. It needs 2 offensive linemen, 2 corners, and 2 safeties. I feel like the corner position is okay. 2 safeties, yeah. Offensive lineman, yeah. I think it's time we start looking as far as the future is concerned and addressing that need as far as the left tackle is concerned, especially with Tyron Smith. I mean, granted, he's not getting up there in age, but he has a type of body that it feels like he's been playing, for years. And so I feel like we really need to secure that left tackle position by bringing in a new guy. And then it also depends on what Lyle Collins is. I mean, I didn't expect Lyle Collins to be out this season. I know he kind of came in out of shape or whatnot, and then he had the hip surgery. And as we all know, in sports, hip surgeries, it could go either way, man. You just never know with those things. So that's something I would definitely keep an eye on. I personally, guys, and I've been beating the table for this all off season, but I guess we need to give up on Connor McGovern. I guess there's something that everyone else in the organization sees that we don't see, because personally, if it was me, I would move Connor McGovern to the left guard position and then swing Connor Williams out to right tackle where he played in Texas and see if he's comfortable there. But I guess with Connor McGovern, there's something that we're not seeing, guys. So I don't think that's going to be the issue. So right now, the offensive line will stay intact until something goes wrong in the game. I think they'll make that decision moving there. But Brandon Knight has played solid left tackle, and Tyler Biotish, we knew he was going to come in and have an impact. So he's been great at center thus far. Do you have an idea how long is Joe Looney actually out for? Did we ever?
He's on because I didn't see him on any of the injury reports. So he's on IR, and I was thinking of Cheeto as well. I thought Cheeto was due to come off this week, but maybe it's another week. Maybe it's Washington or maybe right before the Steelers.
Yeah, so that would be the game. I mean, I think what we can do, Kenny can take any NFL team for granted, but if we can rest our players for Washington and come back fully healthy for the Steelers, I think that'll give us a good opportunity to make a statement. So if we're able to win this game, hopefully beat Washington as well, and then get some momentum going to Pittsburgh, that'll be a great thing to get some of these guys back off the injury reserve. So, Mike, I'm not going to keep you all night, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Like I said, it's been a very dark week for Dallas Cowboys fans. We need some hype right now. So go ahead and bring the heat, man. We need some hype, man.
Let me think here. I usually do one on Friday nights. I won't do my normal one, but I'll see if I can think of something that'll be. I'll do a quick one. Hopefully the audio's okay. I can't see that well on the screen, so hopefully I'm still on screen.
Yeah, you're on screen.
Monday, we are in the house that JJ's built. We lost Dak. We lost Tyron. We lost Collins. But understand this: it's Zeke, it's Gallup, it's Cooper, it's CD. Everybody else just fall in line. Can you hear that, Murray? Can you hear that? That's Tank Lawrence coming to the blind side to get you. Can you hear that? That's Golden Smith ready to lay out. Very short. Very short. The Cowboys kick ass. Woo! Now let me tell you, Jay Tuck, Cowboy Nation, you got me feeling it. Now can you dig it?
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Bring the heat, baby. Bring the heat. Bring the heat. Cowboys Nation, let's get positive. Let's ride for our team. Let's ride for Andy Dalton. Let's put all the foolishness aside and let's go win on Monday. All right. It's your boy J Tuck, CowboysFansOnly.com. I'll post in the chat. 20% off. Hype is the checkout code. Also follow me on Twitter at JTuck151. Subscribe to the channel, Cowboys Fans Only. And we are out, Cowboys fan. We'll see ya on